Might not feel like it yet, but hey, winter is here officially.
And if not, I guess you could just watch Game of Thrones and try and make it feel like winter. Today, though, precisely 8:59 a.m. Mountain Time, the winter solstice begins. That means today is the shortest day and the longest night of the year for us in the northern hemisphere. But starting tomorrow, we'll start to see more sun as the days do grow longer until the summer solstice, which is in June. Often people see this time as a period of renewal and hope as the days grow longer once again. And hopefully folks have a lot to be thankful for and excited about this holiday season. We're thinking of all of you, no matter what you are doing with loved ones this week. Even though it doesn't really feel like Christmas week. We are not going to have a white Christmas here in Colorado Springs. Hopefully you can drive west and maybe see a little bit of snow. Marty joins us now for our forecast on this Monday and what we can expect for the holiday week.
And thank you, Brittany. We will talk a little bit about some snow flying across the high country a little later on this week. Right now, speaking of the high country, not really the higher, we're in the higher terrain. We're not quite the Continental Divide here at Woodland Park, but it's a little breezy. We've seen the tree here moving around, and the lights are helping me to see that, which is pretty dark. Just mentioned why. It's the longest night of the year. We don't really have much light out there, and part of the reason for that, besides the long nights, is that we have some mountain wave clouds, which are actually pretty thick here along the Front Range. And Futurecast doesn't do a great job of seeing those, but the trend is going to be as we move into the afternoon to see those thin out a little bit, so I think we'll have more sun this afternoon than perhaps we will this morning. We're going to have wind in pockets most of the day too, though. The wind is going to be most sustained and gustiest probably up across the mountains, where we could see some gusts over 30 miles an hour, where you see some of the real bright colors on the map, but it's going to be quite common to see gusts running between about 15 and 25 miles an hour in other areas, especially near to the mountains. To a lesser extent, the far eastern plains, but it's probably going to be hard to find anybody who doesn't have some wind during the day today. The wind will help to push the temperatures into the 50s and 60s, so well above average, as was mentioned by Josh and Bryn. Not feeling much like winter, even though it officially starts today. You can find some cold air up across the high mountain valleys. Leadville only around 36, will be 29 degrees in Gunnison. And then tonight we'll probably have just a few clouds around, maybe some more mountain wave clouds, but they don't look terribly thick. We'll continue with some gusty wind over near the mountains, not so much across the plains, and that'll be reflected in the low temperatures, with the warmest air remaining in the 30s, nestled up against the mountains, but we could be in the teens and 20s away from the mountains. And then we'll still find some areas up across the higher terrain, mainly the big mountain valleys, where the temperatures will drop below zero. Fast forward to Thursday, and we start to see some snow spread into the Continental Divide. And so this is kind of what Bryn was mentioning. If you want to find some snow, you can. You just have to go up across the mountains. And actually looks like this might be pretty heavy wind-driven snow into Friday morning, so it could make it pretty tough for travelers. It's possible, as this wave comes across the I-25 corridor, that some of this snow will work over the I-25 corridor as maybe a quick burst of snow or some scattered snow showers. The chances don't look great, but it's our only significant thing to talk about precipitation-wise over the course of the next week. So we end up in the 50s and 60s right on through Christmas Eve day. Again, it's going to be windy at times off and on throughout this period. And then as we move into Christmas Day, it looks like that system will skip away from us. We'll probably back off on the wind and be a little bit cooler with highs in the 40s, but nothing dramatic temperature-wise for this time of year. 40s and 50s around Teller County for the next several days as well. Again, Thursday night into Friday morning, maybe briefly we get some snow showers. The rest of this period looks dry, and we'll focus on the wind day to day to decide whether or not we have fire weather conditions to talk about. Pueblo, mid-60s for the next 2 or 3 days. And then Friday, although it looks like it's going to be warm, it's going to be windy enough, I don't think it'll be a real comfortable day. Christmas Day looks a little cooler with less wind. It might actually be nicer, even though it's a little cooler. And both in Pueblo and in Canyon City, I think the chances of precipitation are pretty slim. And if we get them, it'd be Thursday night and Friday morning with maybe just a few light rain and or snow showers. Then looks like it's going to dry out pretty nicely as we head into the weekend. Natalie has traffic.